I love it. And let's see, the one techie piece we're going to go over specifically is smart loops. So what they are, why you should be using them, and why should you care. So Tailwind, surface level, very top level, high level. Tailwind is a scheduler, third-party scheduler for Pinterest. Now, there's a lot of really cool things about Tailwind, but you are able to integrate Instagram, your Instagram account. You can integrate Facebook, and you can actually pin from those accounts to your Pinterest account through Tailwind. So it's something that I honestly recently just started using. I hadn't jumped into Tailwind because I wasn't utilizing Pinterest the way I thought I should be. And I hadn't seen a return yet on my efforts on Pinterest. So I've had a Pinterest account for probably, I've had a couple Pinterest accounts, but the one we're looking at specifically today is Legacy. So I've had a Legacy Pinterest account for probably 3 years. And I didn't really start utilizing it the way I could. So it wasn't until I hired Get Simply Online, who started helping me go through and really look at all the content I created. And the person I worked with within the company, she just loved what I was doing, and she jumped straight into figuring out what would be best to put on Pinterest, and it was amazing. So when I started using Tailwind was after someone else got into my content and was helping me fall in love again with my content and with Legacy and with everything that I was doing, and helped me see that what I had would translate so well into Pinterest. I just had to put a little bit of effort there. So let's get into how this started working for me. So I've explained what Tailwind is. People love it because it saves time. And Tailwind does the hard work of figuring out the ins and outs of the Pinterest analytics. So Pinterest actually has massive, massive analytics. And I love analytics, and I haven't I haven't dove into all of Pinterest analytics. Now, with Tailwind's help, I can really quickly see which boards are doing well, which pins are doing well, and which ones are converting well. I can see that in my opt-ins. I can see it on my website traffic. And I absolutely love that part. So people love the ease of use of using Tailwind, how well it connects with Pinterest, how well it integrates, all the information that gets pulled in, and just like all the things, basically. So that is why people love it. It's also why I love it. So how can you use it to drive traffic? So we've been sitting on this dashboard for a long time. But what you can see just on my dashboard is that I have a couple of boards that are doing okay. So they show the top 3, and the one that does the best, it has the most repins, and they have a virility score, which is really cool. And so for me, it's journal, diary, and writing inspiration, which is no surprise because that's what a lot of people are searching for on Pinterest. The biggest thing to remember with Pinterest is if you're on Pinterest, remember that it is a search engine, just like Google and just like YouTube. So think of it as a visual search engine. Think about how you use Pinterest and what you look for and the search terms you put in. And those are the things you want to be putting into your own pins on the description, on the title, and how you title your boards. Now, this video is not about how to use Pinterest, but how you use Pinterest impacts how well and the leverage you can use within Tailwind. So at a base level, Tailwind is really great because I'm just going to go into Publisher, Scheduled Pins, and it shows that little 46 number. It says I have 46 pins scheduled out. Now, I'm trying to stick with, I do like a week out. You'll see that some of these are pushed out more. So these are scheduled out with the locks using something called intervals. So you can actually say, if you want to pin one pin to say 7 boards, instead of having to pin them all at once or pin them individually, I can actually set an interval and say, okay, I want a pin to go on one of these boards every 2 days, 2 hours, 24 minutes, and 30 seconds. And Tailwind does it. It automatically pre-fills it. It has it on a really, it's great. And Pinterest, you can set your own times if you want, but Tailwind pulls the demographics, the analytics, and gives suggested times of when it's best for you to be pinning based on viewership and engagement on your own Pinterest account. Okay, which is wicked. It's so cool. So if you've ever sat there and been like, when's the best time to pin or when's the best time to post? Tailwind tells you, and it's done. And it's just automatic. It's fabulous. So there's a lot of really cool techie things in here. This video is not about the tech stuff. It's what it is, why we love it, how you can use it. We are going to chat about smart loops, and then the who can use Tailwind to leverage, and what it could look like for you. And that kind of dives into Pinterest too, of who's using Pinterest, and then when to actually invest in Tailwind. So I kind of did that a little bit. So if you are, let's start with the who and the when. If you are actively using Pinterest for your business, and you've hired a VA, you have someone admin, you've hired someone to help you do Pinterest, or you're doing it on your own and you're spending time each week to pin and, do all of these things, it's probably time to invest in Tailwind. It's not that expensive. It's really very achievable. You do have to have a little bit of a budget, but it's not massive. You're not paying for marketing. You're paying for something like Hootsuite. So it's basically Hootsuite for Pinterest. And yes, within Hootsuite, you can schedule pins, obviously. So if you're already using that, I understand if you want to save there. I have Hootsuite additionally. So I have Hootsuite and I have Tailwind. And Tailwind just is, it's just magical when it comes to Pinterest. So if I haven't sold you yet on why you need Tailwind, let's go a little bit more. So the when is if you're actively using it, you're spending time, you're actively pinning things, and you're like, or you wish you could spend more time doing it. You've seen traffic come in from Pinterest to your site, you know it works, and you just haven't had the time to dedicate to make it awesome. So Tailwind makes that possible. From a who perspective, so Legacy is it's not a weird brand. I was going to say it's a weird brand. Legacy is kind of a weird brand. So it is. I'm not a photographer, so there's not a lot of pictures. And I had to work really hard to find images that connect, that are relevant, and that don't feel, I'm trying to not use stock images all the time. So I'm trying to blend user-generated content, pinworthy, and Pinterestable. So when you're thinking about what images you could be using, or if your company should even be on Pinterest, yes, you should probably be on Pinterest, even if you're only pinning a couple times a week or less. I think having, I have pins that are 2 or 3 years old, and I'm still getting traffic from those pins. So it's kind of like having a bookmark for your content. So a bookmark for a blog post that you loved and you created a really high converting pin or image for it, and you throw it on Pinterest, and you'll get traffic from that for years. It never goes away. So yeah, I think if you're not on Pinterest, you should really, really consider it. If you're in a wellness business, that's excuse me. That's a really big thing people are searching for on Pinterest. So think about all the things you go to search for on Pinterest, and think about the different pins that show up, the different businesses are on there. And I'm pretty sure you could find a way for you to be on it. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation about what that might look like for you, I'm not going to give you a Pinterest strategy, but we can certainly talk through what it could look like, who to consider hiring to help you do it, or how you can move forward on your own. Feel free to hit gaelix.com and go schedule a call. So moving on from that, where was I going? Hang on, I know this. Okay, so using it to drive traffic. So you can schedule from Instagram. So obviously that's going to, wherever you schedule from, you're going to end up driving traffic to that link. So almost all of my pins are to a blog post, they're to a sales page, they're to a page of my website. I try to drive most traffic to my website. Now, I have started using the Instagram. Hold on. Trying to click buttons. Yes, I know. Oh, Tailwind. Okay, there we go. I'll get in here. You get to see all my screen. Okay, so this is what the Instagram interface looks like. So you can see the green ribbons show they're already published. The blue ribbons are scheduled. And what's really, one of the things I love about it is that it shows me how many hearts I have and how many comments I have. So one thought process is to schedule ones onto Pinterest that converted really well on Instagram. What I'll tell you is that sometimes images do really great on Instagram that are not going to do great on Pinterest. When users are on different platforms, they're looking for very different experiences. So someone who's on Instagram is looking for one experience, and someone who is on Pinterest is looking for an entirely different experience. So just keep that in mind as you are thinking about what your pins could look like. Bonus for us is that Canva already has really great Pinterestable templates in their thing. Like when you click Pinterest, like a Pinterest image, they already have really epic templates that you can just go through and brand to yourself and put your own content into, and you're off to the races. So that is how I use it to drive traffic. I pin my blog posts, I pin YouTube videos, and you can see up here that I have early access to Pinterest video publishing. Woo! That came because of the activity on my Pinterest account. It didn't have anything to do with Tailwind, but obviously I haven't enabled it yet because there's a lot of other things going on. So it's not it's not something that's going to like fix all the things, and it's not going to make you money overnight. But I get most of my traffic from Pinterest, and that's just the truth. So I get most of my website traffic from Pinterest, and so many people find me. I have a really high converting opt-in pin that did really well, and it's still doing really well. So that's where that is. And yeah, so that's kind of it. Let's let's do smart loops before I run away on you. So smart loops take everything I just said about the analytics, the ability to schedule things out, the able to do multiple boards at a time. Smart loops takes that and just amplifies it, because smart loops means that you can pick your highest converting pins, really any pins you want, but I would go for your highest converting ones and add them to smart loops. So I never have to remember to repin them ever again. They just go and go and go. And that is what smart loops are. So it really gives you, it's a great way to reuse the pin, and you can see my analytics on this. If your analytics are better, woohoo, good for you. But these are mine. So these are the ones that I have in the smart loop. They're ones that people really enjoyed. This one, and so it's a fresh pin every time. It's not reusing the old pin. So it's a new link. It's a new thing. So that is what a smart loop is. So it gives you an opportunity. I never have to remember to repin these. It just happens, and they just fill in over here. So anything with this blue circle with the arrows, that is a smart loop pin, and those show up in my schedule periodically, and they're just forever and ever and ever. And when they're grayed out like this, that just means that they're holding the schedule, and it knows that it's going to show up, and they'll fill it in when you get a little closer. So, and it just does it. It's fantabulous. So that is the gist of what Tailwind is and why I think you should be using it. Wherever you are, there's going to be a link to an affiliate. So if you decide to sign up for Tailwind and you feel like throwing me a couple pennies, I would love it if you would use my affiliate link to sign up for Tailwind. I did mention Canva in this video. There's also a link to the Canva course that I currently have up, and a link for a one-on-one consult. So if you are thinking about Pinterest, you haven't started Pinterest, and you're not sure where to go, let's have a conversation. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I cannot wait to hear from you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and until I see you again, goodbye.